to Coffee with Cannon. Hello. I got on maybe 1 minute after noon. I was trying to get on at noon, but I didn't make it. But here we are, sitting in uh, my beautiful backyard here. Some of you guys call it the garden. I'm in the garden. I'm in the yard. Whatever you guys want to talk about. And again, it's a beautiful day, November 3rd, 2021. Time is flying so fast. Can you believe how fast time is flying? Before you know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving, and then you're preparing for Christmas and the holidays, and then next thing you know, people are standing in Times Square screaming for that stupid ball to drop, and 2022, voila, enters, and we're in 2022. So, having a lot of fun lately, though. Kathy Bates, how are you? Tina Wright, morning. How are you, Tina? Great to see you. Having a lot of fun lately, and Phil and I thought we had a great show last night. Our intention was to do a story basically on the timeline of Gabby Petito and about the police in Northport. Let this truck go by. That's a garbage truck. They make a lot of noise. Maui Swift, thank you so much for being here. You're at all our chats. You're at all our shows. Thank you so much. You're such a great supporter of Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. And, of course, Coffee with Cannon. That's so great. Tracy M., good morning. How are you? Roll Tide Rita, how are you? Tina Wright, God bless Cleo. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Linda Petrovich, hello, how are you? Retired Sergeant Melinda, good to see you, Sergeant Melinda. Cheers. Coffee with Cannon. Welcome. Edinburgh, Scotland. Wow. Liam. That's, people don't know that Liam is the last part of William, the last four letters of the name William. Your name is just like mine. It's Bill, except the Irish version of that is Liam, right? Great name, by the way. Great name. Hello from Finland. Hello, Finland. How are you? Great to see you here. Retired Sergeant Melinda, again, cheers, and let's always remember to dip them in butter, right? From Wales, Miss Demeanor from Wales, good to see you. Maya Finch from South Carolina. Tina Wright, coffee with you, Bill, good. I'm glad. Maui Swift. Oh, you didn't know that? I know, isn't that? It's so when you find it out, it's so simple that William, take the last four letters and it's Liam. And that's the Irish version of the name William. Bill is Liam. And as I said, great name. A lot of great people with that name. I technically could use that name, but I choose to use Bill, which I'm perfectly happy with. Trudy Deveridge, good morning. How are you? Love my Irish friends and family, says retired Sergeant Melinda. We love you too, Sergeant Melinda. Maui Swift, makes sense. Absolutely. Good morning from Tennessee. Aunt Bibi, good morning. How are you? Debbie Clump, North Cali here. Woof. North Cali. Roll Tide Reader. Tom Jones is from Wales. That's right. That guy is unbelievable, Tom Jones. It's not unusual to go out at any time. I mean, the guy's in unbelievable shape. I guess he's got to be late 70s, early 80s. He's still in incredible shape. The guy is amazing, and he still sings great. What a great singer. Arrakis, I can't pronounce Muad'Dib. Good morning, Bill. Thank you, Arrakis. Good morning to you too. So great to have you here at Coffee with Cannon. Sing the Bee Gees. Kathleen is an Irish name. That's true. It's I'll be coming home again, Kathleen. Right? Factual breakdown. Hello, Barbara Kukuru. Crazy people wanted to fund police, yet they complained that police dropped the ball in a lot of these cases. Steffi, good morning, Bill. I almost missed you slept in here because it's a rainy day here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Wow, Little Rock. Great town, I would imagine, right? I haven't been to Little Rock, but I think it's probably a great area, Little Rock. So, yeah, last night we covered that case, and it was funny. Phil and I were getting ready to do the show, and right in the chat, people started talking about Cleo Smith and that they found her after 3 weeks. And at that point, I didn't really know about the case. So quickly, I got up to date on it. I played a couple of YouTubes, and I was like, Bill Clinton, Maui Smith. Right, Bill Clinton is the most famous Little Rock, Arkansas person or politician, right? Retired Melinda, I've enjoyed all your videos, Bill, Phil, and even Joe. Great job. Thank you so much, retired Sergeant Melinda. Lorna McKenzie, how are you? Myrna Finch, Myra Finch, Finch. So wonderful that Cleo was found. Yeah, I'm going to get into that. I mean, look, we've been covering the Summer Wells case, and we know that's coming on 5 months, and she's still missing. And we always hope and pray that one day, maybe she'll be recovered alive. That someone has her, and she's alive. But we were talking about just the other day that Don Wells was arrested for DWI or DUI, they call it in Tennessee, and for not paying his insurance, basically. I mean, the guy's a criminal, and I know some of you folks on here don't like to hear us say that. He's a criminal, and he's a career criminal, and he's not a good guy. And we say that some people on YouTube, some of the content creators, actually were supporting him. I was like, what are you supporting? This guy is a criminal, you know? And the reason he went out driving drunk was he went out to get cigarettes, you know? Maybe you should quit both. Myra Finch, poor Summer, it breaks my heart that she hasn't been found. Let's get into Cleo Smith. So Cleo Smith was camping with her family. I believe it was like 3 weeks ago. And they were in a tent, and I guess they were separate from her parents. And someone actually came into that tent during the middle of the night, like probably around 3 or 4 in the morning, and took her. And the mother had given her water at a certain time. I don't have the exact time in front of me, but she had given her water, so she remembered that was when she had last saw her. And she checked on her in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she's gone. I mean, yes, you know, I'm just going to get to that. The fact that Cleo is found alive gives hope to Summer Wells and others, the boys that are missing in California, gives hope that they can be found alive too. You know, they said that the statistics, if a child is missing for 3 weeks or more, the chances of them being found alive are statistically not very good, not very good. But one of the amazing things about this was that the police, they attacked this problem, they attacked this kidnapping with all the resources they had in Western Australia. And I believe right from the beginning, there was like 100 investigators. That's what you need. You know, when we look, and I don't like to, yes, respect Chris Russell to the Western Australia police. Let them spike that football. Let them do a touchdown dance. 100%, right? When police do wrong, there's a lot of people attacking them. When they do right, let's praise them as much as they were attacked when they do. You know, we got a favorite expression on the police department. 100 attaboys, meaning attaboy, good job, doesn't equal one shit. So example, 100 good things you do doesn't equal the one mistake you made. And I'm sure that's in a lot of professions. Yes, retired Sergeant Melinda, the FBI helped as well. And you know something, one of the things I learned in police work is that success has many friends and failure is very lonely. I'm sure you guys have heard that expression before, but it's so true. Now that there's success, everyone that even was close to that case is probably coming out of the woodwork and say, yeah, I worked on it too, you know. But one of the main things is that there was a car involved, and the Western Australia police won't elaborate too much, but someone gave them information about a car. And I guess in regards to that car, they tracked the car, they ran the plate of that car, they found out that the car came back to this house. They went to this house, the house was locked. Yeah, Steve Colon, Sergeant Bill, after 12 noon, it should be Cabernet with Canada. I guarantee you, come December, when I'm in that holiday mood, I'm going to do a Cabernet with Cannon instead of coffee with Cannon. I promise everybody that. And you know something? I wanted to show everyone, because everyone was asking the other day, what is Irish butter? Here it is. Here it is. This, if you want, this isn't for dipping yourself in butter. This is for eating. This is some of the most amazing, and I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just telling you, that's, when people are asking, that's what Irish butter is, Kerrygold. It's amazing butter. If you never tried it, you know, Irish butter is called Kerrygold. And as I said, it's not a commercial. It's really good stuff, and you probably would love it. Maui Swift, Yankees for life. Linda Petrovich, wow. Yeah, that's great. You know, it's dip them in butter and Irish butter, but Irish butter is expensive, so I don't think you want to waste it. You want to eat it. You want to put it on bread. Want to put it on and eat it. Irish products are the best, says Liam. Of course, Liam, you're Irish. Uh, Tina Wright, thank you so much. Love your show, Bill. Robert Howard, hi, dipped in Irish butter. Isn't that funny? It's Sweet Melissa. That's right. That's right. Sweet Melissa from the Allman Brothers, right? Crossroads seem to come and go. All I know that she won't stay without Melissa. You know, I'm a big fan of the Allman Brothers, and that song Melissa. I read the book Greg Allman's autobiography, and he said that song Melissa took him like 4 years to write. You know, he would write part of it and put it down, and then one day he couldn't decide what to call it. And one day he went into a deli or a bodega, what we call them bodegas in New York, and the young little girl behind the counter, her mother was behind the counter, and there was a young girl behind the counter, and her name was Melissa. And that's how he named the song. So it's so interesting when you hear how some of these songs, the titles come about, you know. So he named it Melissa, and so Sweet Melissa in the chat, you owe that to that little girl in that bodega, you know. Linda Petrovich, Marlena Cantor, wow, you have a very calming singing voice. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So the Allman Brothers, I love the Allman Brothers. Think of how, you know, they go back like 50 years also. They're really, well, most of them, I mean, Dwayne and Greg are no longer around. So are they really the Allman Brothers anymore? I don't know. But the legacy, they were just great musicians. And Dwayne Allman died, like I think at like 23 or 24, and he was already regarded as probably the best slide guitar player in the world. And just think of that, had he lived. Too many of these great musicians die. You know, he died on a motorcycle, and I think he ran into a peach truck, and that's where they came up with that album, Eat a Peach. You know, you guys know that. If you're Allman Brothers fans, you know about that album. So. Jive talking, Tina, right? Bee Gees. The Bee Gees were amazing. You know, they had that whole Saturday Night Fever thing, and that's a sad family too. They almost the only, I think the only one left is the oldest brother, right? He's the only one left. Sweet Melissa, yup. Sweet Melissa, I guarantee you know everything that I'm talking about. You've probably read the Greg Allman autobiography too. Another interesting autobiography. If you guys are rock and roll fans, blues fans. Keith Richards' autobiography is pretty interesting too. You know, if you're a Rolling Stones fan. Yeah, Maui Swift, Barry Gibb. I'm sorry, my old mind. I forgot who the oldest Allman brother, oldest Bee Gee is, or what his name was. Pippins, the movie Tammy. I think we all tried to sing that song the same way. So let's get back to Cleo. So they had this information on this car, and they tracked it to this house. They broke into the house, and they find this little 4-year-old girl, and they asked her, "What's your name?" And she said, "My name is Cleo." And all the cops at that point, I guess, fell apart, you know, just realizing that they had found her alive. And how amazingly happy you must be at a situation like that. I've been in those situations. I've recovered a kid that was kidnapped by a woman up in Washington Heights, up on 170th Street. She grabbed the kid out of a restaurant, and she brought the kid home. And the kid was like a 4-year-old boy, 4 or 5 years old. And when she brought the kid home, her parents saw her. She goes, "Where'd you get this kid?" She goes, "He's mine." And luckily, they called the police, and we recovered the kid, brought the kid back to his parents. I believe it was up in the 3-3 precinct up in Washington Heights. And she was arrested, but she had lost a couple of her kids, so she was not mentally stable. So I don't know what happened to the case against her. Guys, I have to repeat this. If you're not subscribed, and most of the people I see in the chat right now, I know you are subscribed because I see you around all the time. But if you're not, please go to the YouTube, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us the thumbs up. You know, ring my bell, ring my bell. Right? Just think of that when you're subscribing and ringing that. Chris Restall, Wild Horses, Rolling Stones, one of my favorite songs of all time. Love, love, love that song. Sweet Melissa, yes, he did get knighted. Uh, Rod Holland, Tina Wright, it's amazing she was found. God bless. Uh, yeah, well, Jennifer, we're looking into doing a Whitey Bulger story, absolutely, because Michelle McPhee, she's written extensively on Whitey Bulger, and also we're doing a story on November 30th based on Michelle McPhee's novel on Mayhem. It's called Mayhem. We're doing an episode on the Boston Marathon bombers, which the Supreme Court is now hearing the death penalty case against Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, who was the younger brother who was still alive. He was the one that was hiding in that boat when the police grabbed him out. Uh, Kathy Bates, thank you so much. Excellent podcast. What's it say on your hat? Oh, this is my Montauk hat. You guys see it? It says Montauk, the end. And I like this hat because I have had it for a bunch of years, and it's all beat up and everything, and I've washed it, threw it in the dryer. And I love when hats are aged and beat up because most of the time your hats, you wind up losing them, right? And so you just buy a new hat. But this hat I've had for I don't know how many years. And my other hat that I usually wear, that like cab driver hat, I've had that hat probably for like, I don't know, 12, 15 years. I used to wear that when I was a cop. And I think it might be time to invest in a new hat. But I like it. It's a beat up hat. And those like cab driver, you can just crumble them up, put them in your pocket. That's why you hardly ever lose them, you know. Deborah Steele, hello from my lovely England. How are you? Uh, Jennifer McKee, awesome. Thanks. Please have Joe Murray on too. We love Joe Murray. Joe Murray was out all last night on the elections. Joe Murray, if you guys don't know, a couple of years ago, he ran for Queens District Attorney, and I think he may do that again. So, he gets a little bit political. Jamie Johnson, Gisela, where are you? Are you in the chat, Gisela? I haven't seen you yet. Yeah, if you are, carve it up. Carve it up for me, Gisela. Send me some of your fans here. Uh, Retired Melinda, justice is served for the bombing. We hope so. Uh, Linda Petrovich, the Houston Astros lost the World Series. Yes, the Atlanta Braves won, right? Tina Wright, how are you? Nice. Steffi, love. Factual breakdown. Chris Restall, welcome. Great to see you. So let's get back to Chloe Smith. So unusual that after 3 weeks, 19 days, there's Grizzly Books. Carve it up. You are here with the heart and 100%. You're here. Thank you, Gisela. So good to see you here. We're in my yard or my garden, and I demand that Gisela show up, and she did show up. Yes. So again, you guys aren't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell, and Photo Flies Photography, Lorraine, carve it up, another Grizzly. Good to see you. I reckon Bill Joe Murray wished to be in Virginia. I need a good lawyer. Well, I don't know if Joe Murray's going on field trips to represent people, but he is a good lawyer. I'm sure there's some good lawyers. Coffee with Bill hat. Enjoy, guys. Coffee with Cannon. Here we are. Today I'm wearing my Montauk hat. You can see it. Montauk the end. They call it the end because Montauk is the very furthest you can go on Long Island. It's the tip of Long Island. And Montauk is, they call it the fishing capital of the world, and it's one of the greatest places to go fishing. But last year, and all you Floridians out there in the chat, I went to Isla Morada in the Florida Keys. Oh my God, I love that place. Fishing, amazing. Just the scenery. It's just so incredibly beautiful. And I want to go back again this April. I want to make it a yearly thing with my family to go to Isla Morada. If everyone's healthy and safe, we'll take a trip there. Photo Flies Photography, thank you for coming to support Grizzly and the Grizzly at the fundraiser. Yeah, I did make a donation to the Gabby Petito Foundation right to it so that, because if you make it through YouTube, they take a third. So I wanted to make sure they got 100% of what I donated. Marianne Gibson, hey, yo, hi, Bill from PA. Hello from Pennsylvania. Tina Wright. Sweet Melissa, you make me homesick for New York, but I live in Fort Lauderdale. Is beautiful. I wouldn't mind being in Fort Lauderdale now. Joe East Hope, afternoon all from Dudley, UK. And you know how we always talk about dipping them in butter? And then we talk about Irish butter. I brought some Irish butter today, just to so everyone knows what Irish butter is. There it is. but it's expensive. So I don't know if you can dip it in butter. You can use the butter on your bread. How do we get to talking about this stuff? But it's great. It's so great to talk about this. So we have these expressions, dipped in butter, polish my rack. It's just there's a lot of humor to this. So. Rutham Griffin, Steve Colon, Linda Petrovitz. I'm in Yankees country, so we don't love the Astros. Pia O'Brien, love Kerry Gold. I guess, Pia, you're from Ireland, right? You love that Kerry Gold. I never knew about it till my son, he started buying it. And I was like, where'd you get that butter from? And then he was like, oh, it's Irish butter. I was like, oh, my God. Uh, Marianne Gibson, great donation to Gabby. Carve it up, Grizzlies. Rodhound, we need levity in tough times. You need to laugh, right? You definitely need to laugh. And it's great that you guys come here every morning when I go live. I'm going away on Friday for 4 days. I don't want to tell you where in case the where I'm going to. I don't want, well, if I say any more, that's supposed to be a surprise. So I don't want to say any more about where I'm going, but I'm going to try to do a coffee with Cannon from there. And I hope you guys will join me. It's in the same East Coast time zone, so we don't have to worry about that. Arrakis Mudeeb, it's good Irish butter. Don't care what it costs. Yes, security reasons as well, Sergeant Melinda. That's right. I have SEAL Team 6 accompanying me in my travels, Not really, but if I ever needed security, that's who I would choose, right? SEAL Team 6. So getting back to Cleo Smith, there's so much criticism of the police and the work that police do. There's so many eyes on them. There's so many people Monday morning quarterbacking. And this was so good that the Western Australia police did an amazing, amazing job. And they deserve all the praise in the world. Just think about when they handed little Cleo back to her parents. It must have been like, you can't even explain joy like that, right? It's just, getting back to the person, they said that the kidnapping appeared to be opportunistic, and that the detained man was not a registered sex offender. But that doesn't mean, the chief of the West Australia police said, "Sweet Melissa, you cried. A lot of people cried. It's okay to cry. It's good to cry over something like this. It's happy tears, happy tears, as they say." So the police chief of the West Australia police said that they knew this guy. So he had been on their radar before. They had contact. He'd had police contact before. So yeah, this guy, and forensically, of course, they're gonna do his whole house, his apartment, or where little Cleo was, is a crime scene. They're gonna process that scene for evidence. They're gonna, of course, try to, a 4-year-old kid. This is horrendously traumatic for them, but they're not really good witnesses to repeat what occurred and what happened to them, and you really need good people to interview them. In Manhattan, we had specially trained detectives that worked for Manhattan Special Victims, and they were trained to interview kids under a certain age. But kids under, I don't know what the exact age is, they're not reliable witnesses because their brain isn't a function enough to really repeat what occurred. Lorna McKenzie, hello. Savan Lawson, hi guys from Denmark. Any Grizzlies here? Hello, and carve it up. That was from Claire Bright. There's some Grizzlies out there. OGs. When I hear OG, I think it's original gangsters, but it's starting to mean original Grizzlies. Gisela's everywhere. Everywhere you turn around, Gisela's in the chat. Gisela's got another episode coming on. So yeah, carve it up, Claire, Marianne Gibson. Grizzly Books, True Crime. Gisela's still in the chat. Joe Easthope, you're 100% right. Just because he's not in the sex offender registry does not mean he's not one. 100%. Why would you kidnap a 4-year-old girl? and the fact, she's still alive. 3 weeks later, thank God that she is. But you got to assume he did not have good intentions. Did he think he was going to keep her forever? Uh, JK, hello, much love from Utah. Right back from New York, JK. Um, so yeah, so the when you think about what did they do differently here in Australia, in Western Australia, than the police did for Summer Wells? Was the investigation different? Did they have better investigators? Did they have more investigators? Did they use higher level technology? Or was it just old fashioned gumshoe police work where they wore out their shoes, walking, interviewing people? They went through garbage. You know, the tip they got on this car, apparently they list that as one of the most important pieces of evidence on this case, which in fact may have broken the case. Getting this car, attaching the car to this house, attaching the house to this guy who is now under arrest. So, Andy, the Gabby Cabby, how are you, Andy? Good to see you. I'm doing well. Looks nice. Yeah, this is my yard, or as you Brits say, my garden. I'm back in the garden. What do you think about Madeline McCain case, Claire Bright? You know what I think about is I made the mistake that she said made in the can, because I didn't know about that case yesterday. I don't know a lot about it. I got to now look into it, but I thought the newscaster said made in the can. I thought it was some type of Australian slang, and then I was corrected in the chat by people saying no, she said Madeline McCain, and I was like, oh, I felt like a fool. But something, the accent was thick. I didn't know what she was talking about. So it sounded like to me made in the can, but it was in fact Madeline McCain. So great. So folks, yeah, the merchandise, you guys, we have merchandise. This is one of the things that you get your police off the cuff coffee mug, and on the back it says dipped in butter. There's leggings, there's shirts that say polish my rack. There's all kinds of different stuff. So yeah, if you like police off the cuff, support us with our merchandise. Merch. Sergeant Melinda, thank you for helping me, Sergeant Melinda. Andy the Gabby Cabby. You guys got to support Andy the Gabby Cabby, too. Subscribe to his channel. He's got some interesting stuff. He's got a great sense of humor. Guys, I work hard at this, but people are sending me cases like every week from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. And I can't possibly know every case, or I can't possibly present every case. We try to present what's trending, and I admit that because we're trying to build. Does Australia have a human trafficking problem like US? Could have been intentions for that. I hate to say it. I think the human trafficking problem is not. It's an international problem. It's not just a problem in the US. It's international. It's all over the world. There's these human traffickers, and they exist. We don't know what, till they complete the investigation on this. I haven't heard anything new about who this guy is. I heard that somehow he sustained a head injury in the holding cell. So I don't know if maybe they put him in with other inmates that heard what he did and they beat him up, or maybe he did a self-inflicted head injury by hitting his head against the bars. I don't know, but that's the last thing I read, that he had to be taken to the hospital for a head injury from inside the holding cell. Michael Vaughn, I don't really know the case, Claire Bright. I'll look into it. Rod Hound, someone. It's really everywhere in the world, unfortunate child trafficking. Yes, Andy, the Gabby Cabby, the young girl in Australia, it's a miracle. It really is a miracle. And God, if you believe in God, he answered the prayers of that family, for sure. And not just the family, the police, the whole country. When something like this happens, it gives a lift to everybody. It gives a lift also to something called hope. Hope that other missing people, missing kids, can be found, discovered, and found alive. And it's not impossible that Summer Wells could be found alive. She's been missing, coming up on 5 months right now. So it gives hope. It definitely gives hope to all these other cases. And, we're going to stay on it. And, last night Phil and I, our intention was to go over the timeline of Gabby Petito and talk about the police in Northport and talk about their response and maybe where they erred and maybe where they didn't do a good job. And the News Nation with Ashley Banfield, they really ripped the Northport police big time, because it seemed like in a press conference or a Phil Eastler, Coffee with Cannon, and we love Joe Murray. That's great. We love Joe Murray too. Uh, and guys, you want to dip them in butter? Dip them in the highest class butter possible. All right, Kerry Gold Irish butter. I see like this is a commercial that I'm not getting paid for this, so, but I wanted to show everyone what Irish butter is, because all you guys are saying, "Oh, what the heck is Irish butter?" There it is. If you don't know, Gigi. Hi everyone. Uh, Gandhi the Gabby Cabby, Rita Schaefer, yummy. Marie Green, factual breakdown, only in chat. Gigi, chat's moving. Phil Grimaldi, Kerry Gold, we used that in my house. I knew Phil was going to try to take credit for using Kerry Gold, because he has these big vats of sauce that he has, like almost like an oar for a boat that he stirs, and he makes that sauce starting on Friday night for the whole weekend, And he's throwing garlic in there, he's throwing meatballs, pork chops. It's got everything in it. Parmesan cheese, and he's stirring that up. And now he wants to claim that he's using Kerry Gold, my favorite butter. That's just a joke. I love it. Italians take so much pride in their food, which I think is great, because my favorite food on this earth is Italian food. Kathy Bates, yes, it's gravy. You can call sauce sauce, or you call it gravy, right? Marianne Gibson, best butter ever. We know Phil Grinaldi. We know good stuff for sure. I've been to Italy, and to me, even the train stations. You go to a train station where you would expect to just get fast food. Even the train stations have great food in Italy. It's like incredible. And I can't wait. Phil Grimaldi calls it sauce. So you guys, the gravy people over here, the sauce people over here, you can get together and make a great product. Gravy, sauce, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, there you go, Phil. Someone just invented a show for you. Pasta with Phil. Pasta with Phil. Auto Grill Bill on the highway. Yeah. So Pasta with Phil. That's a good show for Phil to pursue, and maybe he'll do a cooking show. Show how he makes the sauce, how he makes the marinara sauce. And the love high school kids for the guys of Police Off the Cuff is amazing. Gravy is completely different in the UK. Prosciutto with Phil. There's another name for his show. Pasta and prosciutto with Phil Grimaldi. And he has the little chef's hat on. Oh my God, we got something. That show could blow up. He'll knock us off the air. Arrakis Gravy is a food group in our house. That's so great. So, guys, really enjoying Coffee with Cannon. So great to see you guys here, back in my yard. I'm happy about. My name is Cleo, 4-year-old girl recovered in Western Australia that was kidnapped over 3 weeks ago. So happy that she's alive. In fact, Phil and I are doing a show tonight. Phil, what time do you think is the best time? What time you tell me right now, I'll go with that. I didn't know if you wanted to do it at 4 or at 6. Either one of those times is fine with me. Even we could do it at 5. Let me know and I'll announce it right here, Phil. You there? Andy the Gabby Cabby, Clara Bright, Phil, we have a cooking show with him, just an apron. Even tasty cakes. Phil, yeah, let's do it at 6. I think that'd be great. So guys, we're gonna do a show tonight, because there should be more information out also about this case, about Cleo Smith and the case and how they found her, and how everyone across the world is elated that this little girl was found. Amazing. John R. Bauer, that would be great cooking show. Yes, 6 it is. Phil and I are going to do a show at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Cleo Smith case, and we'll talk about some other things. There's a lot of things going on. It was just elections yesterday. We have a new mayor in New York City. His name is Eric Adams. He's actually a retired police captain. So we're hoping that maybe he'll pay more attention to public safety than this mayor this outgoing Mayor de Blasio, who was a disaster. 8 years of this guy was a total disaster. So we're hoping that it can't get any worse. You know, that's what we're hoping, but you never know. JT, Bill and Phil, who you got for the big fight Saturday, Canelo or Plant? I don't really know much about either one of them. Phil, do you? Yeah, Phil Grimaldi, anti-crime, will be back in New York City. That'll make a big difference. But he's still against street crime, which I think street crime is great, and maybe he can be talked into the. Oh, Sergeant Melinda, I love my tops, yoga pants, mugs from head to the toe. I wore all my merch and made. You got it, Sergeant Melinda. You got to take a picture of you wearing our merchandise and send it to us so we can use it on the air. This is Sergeant Melinda wearing a police off the cuff T-shirt, polish my rack. You know, one of those shirts that would be beautiful. And she got the leggings on, dipped in butter leggings. You know, we would love that. That would be so good that we could show it to other people. All right, Sergeant Melinda, thank you so much. That's great. I'll be there, Yankees Flyers, to watch the Gotti fight Saturday night. Reigns, Bill and Phil, I support stop and frisk. Do you? Yes, we do, but it's really called stop, question, and frisk. The press tried to own it by calling it stop and frisk, by acting like the police just go up to people, jump out of the car, and stop and frisk them. It's more to that, and it's stop, question, and frisk. And one day I'll go into more of the legalities of that, because it's very important to call it stop, question, and frisk, and not let the press own it. Retired Sergeant Melinda, everyone, she loved the merch. So you guys got to get the merch. You got to get our merch from our site. You know, we need your support, and I'm trying to do this coffee with Cannon, like 5 to 6 days, 7 days a week. I don't know if I can do it 7 days, but 5 days a week. One of the reasons is because I really enjoy it. I love coming out here to my yard and talking to you guys, and it's a great experience. Factual breakdown: I make my own sauce, my own salsa, my own tortillas and flatbread, and bake my own bread. Wow, that sounds great. It sounds amazing. So, guys, I'm at 37 minutes. I don't mean to go much over 35. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Go to our YouTube, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a thumbs up. We'll see you guys tonight at 6 p.m. with Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories with myself, Sergeant Bill, and Detective Phil. Have a great day. Thank you so much.